The left is organizing an advertising boycott of Facebook. And that seems a little puzzling at the first glance because, wait a minute, isn't Facebook actively censoring conservatives? Yes. Isn't Facebook outlawing frank and candid discussion of all kinds of topics that are dear to the left? You can't challenge election fraud. You can't challenge COVID. You can't talk about the trans issue in certain ways. You can't discuss abortion in certain ways. You can't challenge the orthodoxies of climate change. So Facebook is in fact enforcing the mantras of the left. So why would the left be boycotting Facebook? Well, I think when we look at this, and there's an article in Politico that goes into the kind of nitty-gritty of the boycott, it helps us understand how this stuff works. And it also helps us understand the differences between the left and the right. Typically on the right, I'll run into someone who goes, I'm no longer shopping at Target, or I've canceled my subscription to Disney Plus, as if that by itself is going to do anything to change the behavior of these companies. In that respect, we're very naive. We try to organize a consumer boycott, and look, sometimes it can work. Look at Bud Light, for example. So it is possible for things to catch a certain type of momentum, to reach a critical mass, and then it does put pressure on the company. But guess what? Even in the case of Bud Light, we have to admit, Bud Light hasn't, cried uncle. It hasn't surrendered. It hasn't said, okay, we are very sorry that we did what we did. Bud Light has sort of dug in, and that means that even though they've taken such a hit, they're sort of hanging tough, which means there have to be countervailing pressures on the other side, maybe coming from their investors, maybe coming from the companies that invest in Bud Light, that were using pressures of the ESG model and so on. In any case, my point being that we have on our side very limited success in exercising leverage on these kinds of companies. So what's happening at Facebook is that they've got a guy on the left, Mark Zuckerberg, who's running Facebook. But even Mark Zuckerberg is not a complete leftist. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg believes, and he gave a speech in which he said that we need to have more free speech in our society and at Facebook. And he said, particularly in a democratic society, now this seems to me the common sense of the matter, but it's interesting to have Zuckerberg saying it, because Zuckerberg goes, when you have politicians that are making claims and counterclaims, it's not our job at Facebook to go, this is misinformation, this is wrong, this is hateful. We don't get to referee the debates occurring in a democratic society. Well, I mean, you wish that Zuckerberg carried that idea to its logical conclusion, which is, why are you censoring really anybody? In other words, why are you censoring political debate at all? Because after all, in a free society, it isn't just the politicians who have free speech. We do too. So this is where Zuckerberg needs to go. But Zuckerberg isn't going there. He is a partial defender of free speech. He's a sort of holdout against the full regime of censorship that the left wants, and that's not enough for them. So they've been organizing a movement to create boycotts. And we'll talk a little bit about the mechanics of the boycotts. But what I want to highlight is this is what the left is after. What the left is after is, we will assemble a coalition of activist groups and kind of traditional civil rights organizations, groups like the NAACP, the League of United Latin American Citizens, it's called LULAC. We'll get the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, the Jewish group headed by Jonathan Greenblatt. And what we'll do is we will then, together, the activist groups and these traditional civil rights groups, which sort of have the credibility of we're fighting hate, we are protecting civil rights, will go to all these major companies and get them to sort of come in with us. And together we then go to Facebook and we say to Facebook, listen, you need to let us, the left, set your policies on hate speech and harassment. In other words, we want to have veto power. We want to insert ourselves and have regulatory authority in Facebook. We want you to do our bidding. And in exchange, we will then call off the boycott. We will open up the floodgates of advertising. We will get these big companies that were able to convince not to advertise in Facebook to start advertising again. So in other words, think of what's going on here. It's a combination of a carrot and a stick. The carrot is Facebook is already on the left. They want to please these groups anyway. So there's a part of Facebook that is willing to go along with what these leftists want and have censorship. And that's why we have censorship policies in place. But why isn't the censorship even more than it is? Because, of course, Facebook isn't totally willing. And there are certain people at Facebook, and apparently Mark Zuckerberg is one of them, more than the other people around him. He wants to maintain at least some vestige of free speech on Facebook. And the left is like, listen, we need to put the pressure, the clamps on Zuckerberg to make sure he relents, to make sure he gives in. So we'll put enough financial leverage that we're going to hurt their numbers, we're going to hurt their stock prices, and maybe where persuasion doesn't work, pressure will. So this is how the left successfully operates, and it's a lesson that we can certainly learn from. Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop with MyPillow. He also created the Giza Dream bed sheets. These sheets look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep, which is, of course, crucial for our overall health. Mike found the world's best cotton called Giza. It's ultra soft and breathable, but also extremely durable. And Mike's latest deal is the sale of the year. For a limited time, you get 50% off the Giza Dream sheets, marking prices down as low as $29.98, depending on the size. Go to MyPillow.com and enter promo code Dinesh. There you'll find not only this amazing offer, but deep discounts on all the MyPillow products, the robes, the slippers, the MyPillow 2.0 mattress topwear, the MyPillow kitchen towel sets, and so much more. Here's the number to call, 800-876-0227. Once again, it's 800-876-0227, or you can go to MyPillow.com to take advantage of this offer and get the discounts. You need to use the promo code, which is DINESH, Dinesh.